Gospel legend Deborah Fraser has finally been laid to rest today. The funeral service was held on Saturday, but the burial couldn't take place due to waterlogged graves caused by the heavy rains. Manqoba Mqunu is following this story for us. He joins us now live. So it's been a very difficult time for Deborah Fraser's family, because they've had to wait 3 more days to actually bury her. Just take us through how they're feeling and how things unfolded today.
Well, Shahan, the family was quite emotional, but also relieved. I think they were emotional because they were burying Deborah Fraser today. And of course, they were hoping that she's going to pull through and that she was, in fact, going to survive her illness. But at the same time, Shahan, they were also relieved because they were planning to actually bury her on Saturday, but due to the fact that there were heavy downpours in KwaZulu-Natal, and in fact there was flooding that was reported, the family then had made a decision not to continue with the burial. In fact, we're told that they'd driven to the burial site itself, Lalagahle Cemetery, which is in Hillcrest, when they discovered that, in fact, it was flooded and that the grave itself was waterlogged. It was full of water, and in fact, some parts of it had even been, covered by the soil. That's how much damage had happened at that particular point. So the family is saying that they had then taken a decision when they had met after the funeral to actually postpone this particular burial to today. In fact, they had been waiting, Shahan, hoping that the weather is going to clear up and that the grave itself is going to dry up, and then they will be able to lay Deborah Fraser to rest. It was not an easy decision for the family because you can imagine, Shahan, this is a family that was really looking forward to closure, to lay her to rest. We saw that there was a funeral service that was attended by many mourners as well as industry peers who really paid tribute to Deborah and the contribution that she had made to the industry, really singing her praises as far as a commitment, her dedication and a love for what she did. And so the family was hoping really to lay her to rest and put it all behind her. But they had to wait, of course, and postpone this particular burial to ensure that at least she's buried in a dignified area and that she really does get the burial and the send-off that she deserves. But we did speak to the family earlier on, Shahan. They're also quite thankful to the South African, saying that, South Africans have really showed them so much love during this time. And they really were thanking the fans as well as those industry peers that have come through, saying that without them, the family would not have done it. Take a listen to what one of the family members had to say.
Sithanda ukubonga kuma fans akhe kuba bonke abantu abasupportile, sibonga kakhulu nje ngento eniyenzile. Yilokho engakusho, siyabonga nje, siyabonga nje uthando nisinikezele yona nasisingatha kulesi sikhathi esisificile. Ngibonga kakhulu.
Sibe njani nje isimo maningakwazi ukumbeka yini uchaza usigalesi yazi ukuthi bekhona imvula?
Kusho ukuthi sithema sesiphuma enkonzweni kwaba nalento ukuthi imvula zinkulu kakhulu, kwase kuyakhulunywa kwahlangana ukuthi akakwazi ukuthi ayofihlwa endaweni enamanzi ngoba ama floods lapha emathuneni bekhona vele.
And let's talk about Deborah Fraser's contribution to the music industry in South Africa.
Well, Shahan, she contributed immensely, and this is according to some of the people who, of course, attended the funeral. We did hear during a funeral service from the likes of Yvonne Chaka Chaka. We recall that Deborah Fraser had started her career back in the 80s as a backing singer and working alongside the likes of Mom Yvonne Chaka Chaka, as well as the greats of Huma Sigela and other big musicians and names in this industry. And so those people, they have described Deborah as quite a humble person, somebody who was very dedicated to her work, who loved singing. In fact, Shahan, they say that the way she loved performing and the way she loved her fans, it shows in what she did just weeks before her death when she actually went to perform in a wheelchair. And this speaks to the person that she was. She was always open to helping others, including those who were homeless. She had opened even a foundation where she was helping those people that were in need and children that were without homes, and taking them in and caring for them, and also young artists, upcoming artists. She was also involved in uplifting those artists. She was a very outspoken person, according to some of the speakers. They say that, she'll speak about issues that were affecting the industry. She was quite vocal about those issues, but she was very kind. She was very loving. And in fact, Deborah Fraser, they say her death is a loss to this industry. I spoke to one of the artists who's also the chair of CIFSA, the Creative Cultural Industry of South Africa, which really deals with issues of artists here in the country, Mbuso Sokela. And this is what he had to say about Ma'am Deborah Fraser.
Sithathe decision yokuthi singene kuma issues of leadership sizibambele thina is because besibukela kubantu abanjengaye who were vocal, who availed themselves, because if ungena kwizinto zoma leadership akekho umuntu oholelayo, but usukuthatha initiative nawe yokuthi ube i-active citizen kwi-industry yakho, ube phambili kuma issues affect industry, and ibona abantu abasigayidile entweni njengalezo njengoba simile la.
Well, Shaman Buso just explaining that they learned a lot from Deborah, the leadership that she showed, the fact that she would take these leadership positions, she would speak out against injustices that are facing the industry, and that as a leader himself, he looks up to Deborah, the kind of leadership that she provided. This is what they take from her, and this is what they're going to continue to ensure, that those issues that affect the industry are raised and that they're well ventilated out. So that was Mbuso just expressing himself on what he would remember of Ma'am Deborah Fraser. Of course, there were many similar sentiments from others who spoke at the funeral, describing just how great Deborah Fraser was.
All right, thank you so much for the update and reporting. Our reporter Manqoba Mqunu is in Durban.